In this video, we learn Apex imperative method with parameters. So let's go to our VS Code. In the previous video, we have seen how we can call the Apex method imperatively. But this time what we're gonna do is we're gonna pass the param along with our method. So first thing, I want to create another method in the controller. So I'll go to account controller, I'll copy paste the signature again, and this time I changed my method name to find accounts, and I'll say I'll pass the search key, and the search key will create another variable with the type string. The key equal to percentage plus search key, and what we're gonna do is we'll say select ID name, we'll say type industry from account, where we'll say here, and we'll say we'll write our condition now. I'll remove this type and I'll say where name, like in this where to be again caps, where name like as key, and limit the record to 5. So what we are doing here is whenever it receives some text as a search key, and will pass to the query, and it query will check, it will go to the account, record all the names and search whether that key is available there or not, and it will return. So we basically trying to build a searchable accounts. So now our method is ready. Let's go and create another component. We'll call this name as Apex imperative with params demo. Now our component is ready. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna import our method, that is find accounts from @salesforce apex / account controller, and our method name is find accounts. And what we're gonna do here is on change of our input field we want to call this. So let's quickly create a card, a lightning card, title X array with params demo. Give some padding, SLDS padding around medium, and here we're gonna create a input field, and for this input field what we're gonna do, the lightning input type search. We'll say on change we'll call, we can say search handler, and the label should be search count, and then we'll say value is search key. We'll close this lightning input, and now we'll go and create this method in the JS file. And this gonna receive the event, and we have a value search key. We'll create the search key on the top, initialize it with the empty string, and we'll say this dot search key equal to event dot target dot value, and we can create a button as well, or we can just call the method on the search key itself. So what we're gonna do, once the key is available, I'm gonna call this method as well. We'll go and check the name of the param. We'll say search key is this dot search key, and once it's success, it will return the proper result, and we'll say dot accounts equal to result. Otherwise it will catch an error. We'll say console dot error is error, and we'll create a property accounts as well on the top, and we'll gonna render this account. And to render this, we're gonna use the same box. First we'll check if the accounts is available or not. We'll say if true accounts available, if yes, the template for each accounts for item, call it as account. We are running the loop on the result, and we are creating a box, passing the key account.id and printing the name. And print the name and print the type and industry. And now whenever the user types something, it will call our method, and it will bring the data. Every time the new data comes, it re-renders our HTML. So let's deploy and see how it works. But before that, we have to change our meta configuration, and we're going to change it exposed to true targets app target. Now let's deploy this. Deployment is failed, and it's saying I forgot to close the targets. Let me close the target and deploy this again. Now the component is deployed. Let's go and place this component page, and we'll search the component Apex imperative with params demo. Place it here. Save. Let's go back. And now here, if we search some account name with say B, it immediately brings the account name that has B Burlington. If I change it to A, it will bring all the account name that contains A in it. But there is a challenge. If I inspect the element, and I'll go to a network tab, and I'll say A, B, C, D, E, F, some string I'm writing. Now if you look at it, calls 6 times my Apex method, right? So I don't want call so quickly. For this problem, we're gonna use a debouncing technique, and in debouncing we basically give some delay. So let's go and give some delay to our search. What we're gonna do is, as soon as we search this, first thing what I'll do is I'll move it to another function. I'll say call Apex as a method, and I'll paste this code here. And here what I'm gonna do is I'll say set timeout. Set timeout is a timing function that will only call once after a given delay. I'll say call after every 2 seconds. And here what I'm gonna do is inside this I will call this method, and that method is call apex, and I'll store this timeout into a variable. I'll say it this dot delay, and I can say timer actually, timer, and I'll create a timer property on the top. So I create the property, I store the set timeout into a property, and what I'm going to do here is whenever the user types something, I'll first clear the timeout, and I'll say this dot to clear a timeout you have to pass the reference. I'm clearing the timeout, and then I'm updating the search, and as soon as it search and after 2 seconds it will call the apex, and we can make it 1 second there. And now let's deploy this and see how many times it's calling this method. So this is a better approach because whenever we users type or search something, it will type couple of character in very fraction of seconds. So it's always good to give some delay, otherwise it will continuously search the number of time you type the character. So let's refresh the page. So I'll type AB, and if we go here, let me clear first to understand this better. I type ED. Now you see I type 2 characters, still it's calling only once, right? I'll type couple of character, it's only called once in a 1 second. So now that's a better way. Earlier it was calling 4 times for the 4 characters, and now our search is working totally fine. If I type A, it will call all the name that contains A in it, and that's how we pass the param, and that's how we write the code for apex imperative with parameters. And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.